So I'm definitely supposed to be filming my November wrap-up video, but what the flip, yo? The Global Citizens Concert. It's like I'm back on the Run tour again for free. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Step my money fast, go fast, fast, fast. Skirt, skirt, skirt. Hello, welcome to my channel. So this is Vlogmas, so you're getting videos pretty much every day, and today I'm here to do my November wrap-up. November was a crazy reading month, so hopefully my recommendations and my feedback will guide you on some that you may can squeeze out before the end of the year. Some books that I started but I have not yet completed, which you probably saw from my vlog yesterday, which was Well-Read Black Girl. Well-Read Black Girl by Gloria Edom, and it's an anthology of several different black writers, black women writers, and it's just brilliant. I think this was such a brilliant idea. If you're not familiar with Well-Read Black Girl, it started off as kind of like a book club initiative, which is a book club in Brooklyn. And it basically took off. Like, now it's a festival. She has now comprised and curated this book of so many beautiful authors. This book introduces you to many authors that you may not be familiar with. Some I was not familiar with. Some of them are my favorite writers. I mean, she has Jesmyn Ward in there, which you guys know I love me some Jesmyn Ward. Yeah, I am gonna do something with this book. A video somehow with this book. So stay tuned during Vlogmas. I haven't figured it out yet, but it's coming. So next up is Becoming. I am not finished with this. This book is quite lengthy. It's over 400 pages. This is actually my library copy, but I did purchase a book to own. And the beginning, the creative writing, it's beautiful. Michelle Obama, as far as where I'm at currently, it's a really good read. It is interesting though, because some of the things to me, I just don't align with what I believe. I will do a deeper dive into the memoir once I finish it. That is on the way, but I'm just taking my time with this. And honestly, it is something that I don't want to necessarily binge read, but it is really good. Next up, oh my gosh, this is If Beale Street Could Talk. This is James Baldwin. I had never read this, ever read this. I saw that there was a movie adaptation coming out. The preview looked amazing, and I was like, why have I never read this from Baldwin? I'm clearly not familiar with Baldwin's fiction, which is a shame, as much as I should be, because I had never read this, and this book is beautiful. This book is 5 out of 5 stars. This was romance, pain. It was all facets of love and just pain and anguish. It is about a man who is wrongfully incarcerated and what toll that takes on his basically newly engaged family and everybody surrounding him and how that impacts it. And it's insane to think that this was written decades ago, because it is so timely. It feels like something that was written today. And part of that is sad, in a sense, because it's like you want to say there's so much progress, but this story just felt so relatable. Again, if you love romance, like, I am tearing up thinking about it. I just can't wait to watch the movie, and I hope the movie can bring to life some of the beauty in here. But the dialogue in this and the thought process in this was so well written. I am having a hard time understanding how this will be adapted on film to do it justice. Let me know if you've read this. Amazing. This has become one of my favorite books of all time. That good. The Proposal, and this, it is about a girl who's scared to fall in love, and Carlos, who is also hesitant to get into a serious relationship, and of course they end up dating and falling for each other. But the reason why it's called Proposal is because it starts off with a proposal at a baseball stadium. But this was so enjoyable. This is definitely one of those reads that I could not put down. I read this on my flight back from Orlando for Thanksgiving, and then I finished it up like within the day or two afterwards. Really, really good stuff. I swear I read nonfiction. Okay, yay, this is nonfiction. This was one of the ones that I went for Nonfiction November, and this was by Angela Davis, and it's Freedom is a Constant Struggle. This was a collection of basically different essays as well as just different speeches and interviews that she has had. And I thought this was really, really good. It says Ferguson, Palestine, and the Foundations of a Movement. And I just love the correlation of how injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere, and it really ties out some of the similarities of what's happened in the past, from the apartheid in South Africa to the civil rights movement to all of the racial oppression throughout America. Ferguson, and it ties it to Palestine and what's currently going on over there. And it just is so interesting on how whenever the tragedy hits home to you, that's when it becomes a concern. But literally, so many of these constructs are related to one another. And this really lays out a lot of interesting arguments for some of the different injustices. And it also kind of challenged my viewpoint on prison reform, because I really feel like prison needs to be reformed. And you know, I thought this was radical. I didn't realize that, you know, there was a time in American history that, you know, abolishing prisons was something that was very tangible and actually conceivable. Because to me now, I was like, whoa, 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 like just getting rid of all prisons. But the arguments made in here really made me think, and it made me change and challenge my stance on it. I would definitely recommend this for anyone who's just trying to understand how the social constructs and like the different stuff in the world and how different things align, and how you can align yourself to be helpful and not complacent. The other nonfiction books that I actually haven't finished this. Oh my gosh, I put this on here, but it's not completed. I actually ordered this book, so it should be coming like tomorrow, I think, is what the shipping thing said. I thought it was coming yesterday, but got delayed. And this is Creative Quest by Questlove. And this, look at this cover. This was another one of my nonfiction prompts, and oh my gosh, clearly I bought this, but the reason why I had to stop reading it was because I wanted to highlight so much, and this is a library rental, so I was like, let me pause this book. I will finish it once I get my copy, my personal copy, so that way I can highlight, do sticky notes and all that. There was such a wealth of knowledge, and this really is on how to be your best self, your best creative self. And it's not like a self-help book. I feel like the approach was one that was very relatable and one that aligned with already a lot of my beliefs, but helps me to figure out how to challenge and channel that creative energy to produce even better content and produce even better just actions in my everyday life. So I love this. Okay, so Home. So this is by Toni Morrison. I've been wanting to read more and more classics, books that I just have not read from, you know, well-acclaimed authors. And Toni Morrison, I loved Beloved, and I was like, I really need to read more of her work. So I went with Home, and it was really good. I think I gave this 4 stars on Goodreads, but it was more like a 3.5, but you know, they don't let you do the half stars. And it follows the journey of 2 main characters, which are brother and sister, but they're separate lives. And basically, I believe they talked about it like the scars of America, and that's a great way of categorizing this, because it follows a veteran. He was in the Korean War, and him coming back and the PTSD that he's suffering, but doesn't really have the vocabulary for it. And then also the scars of this his sister, who they're both from a small town. They try to go out to make more for themselves, but it's hard for her to make more for herself. And you know, she ends up in a situation where she's trusting people, and the world's it's a tough world, and sometimes tragic things happen, and there's just no explanation besides this is America. Anyways, but it's not like a depressing book like that. It's like regular life. It's almost like if you were to listen to a vlog, so to speak. That's what this book feels like. The other book that I finished, I know you already saw The Sun Does Shine, that I reviewed. I have that already posted on my channel. Me and Dwayne, we sat down to have a book discussion on it because it's just that good. It was selected as a part of Oprah's book club, and I completely understand why. I deep dive into that book, but that book was a 5-star for me. I loved it. It's about a man who is wrongfully incarcerated. It's a true story, and he was on death row for 30 years, and literally that's my entire life. He was on death row and he was wrongfully incarcerated, and he talks about his journey throughout that. But what was interesting is that the book was more so about hope than anything else, which was mind-boggling for me. But I mean, I loved it. The other book that I finished, but I had to also return, was Incognito, which I thought was so good. It was a graphic novel, which I talked about on my channel for ages. It was perfect that I was reading all this nonfiction because it was able to break up my read, and the illustrations, it was just beautiful. Brown Girl Reading, I saw that on her channel, and that's what made me want to check out the graphic novel, and I'm so glad. It was definitely worth the read, and I loved the updated edition with all of the new illustrations. It was just perfect. So that was a lot. That was a lot of books that I read, some books that I'm continuing to read that are just going to be added to December on my continuous never-ending TBR. But I hope you enjoyed. If you read any of these books below, what were some of your thoughts? If I were to recommend any book from this collection of what I read this month, I would say the most well-rounded read that you would have to read would be If Beale Street Could Talk. And especially since the movie is coming out, I feel like this is the book of the month for me that I read. Yeah, hands down, this was my favorite. And as far as for nonfiction, November, weirdly, even though I loved The Sun Does Shine, I feel like Creative Quest, for me personally, was the most impactful. So this is one that I'm really looking forward to just completing and finishing. Well, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. Definitely comment below if you've read any of these books, or if you had any books that you read this month that you think I should check out. It's not like my TBR can get any larger. Yes, it probably can, but it's already crazy. But anyways, love and light, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.